Yeah, da, 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 down. Ba, 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 down. Yeah, da, da, down, ba, ba, da, down, da, do, do, do. Boom, boom, ba, do, boom. Yeah, da, 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 ba, ba, down. Ba, 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 down. Ba, dum, ba, dum, boom, boom, ba, dum, boom, boom, ba, down. Yeah, da, 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 down. Ba-da-da-ba-da-bow. Come on, get this resituated. Stop freezing up. Come on, come on. There we go. Now I should be able to see the chat with it placed like this. Pull this over here. Come on, stop freezing. You're not doing anything tough. Just a smidge. There. Okay. That looks like it should be in order. Yeah, I'm probably stupid for doing this, but I guess for an hour or so before dinner, I'll show me working on the comic here for a bit. Don't think anyone's here yet, so I'm going to take this and put the link up. Oh no, Daniel's here. Hello, Daniel. I'm just working for an hour or so before dinner, and I figured I'd stream working. Let's see, where's, here it is. Okay. I'm working on the digital part of comic. Alright, we got that up over on the Discord. And now let's put the link up on Twitter. The Metal Gear Solid 3 remake will reuse the original game's voice lines. Okay, thank you. I was not really questioning that, but the computer felt the need to tell me that, apparently. Okay, let's see over here. Alright. Comic, online comic, internet comic, web comic, web series, streaming, art, YouTube. This page of my comic. There we go. And there's some tweet about Pikmin up on here. Alright. Now I will get into actually working here. Oh. Hello, Shadow. We are just streaming, for probably an hour or two before I make dinner. Probably, not the smartest idea to... because I'm not going to get this finished before then, but I figured since I'm working, I may as well start a stream up for it. where is it? Okay, over here. And let us get some music playing in the background. How are you guys doing today? Heya hiya hola. Yeah, that was not fun yesterday, trying to find a thing to kneel on. I, like, got the knee stuck inside of a stool that Grandma used to use to rest her foot on. Let's see here. What do I want to play? How's about this one? I clicked on it. Come on, play. Computer's still waking up. I just started it up and put in things on the Windows 10 computer to do a stream. Yeah, let's, as always, be sure to tell me how the music is compared to my voice, so I know you guys can hear me and stuff. And so that the music is not too loud and all that. And let's get to work. Alright, here we go. Just got done doing the white border around the panels here on the other computer before I transferred it over. And now we will start working on the black parts. See, lower the opacity, put in the background, and now we can get to work. Oh, moved in a bit too much. There we go, 100%. Got the claw looking all exasperated, embarrassed-ish over here. Got some bread with one slice has banana on it and another slice has butter on it. When I was planning to do like a peanut butter banana sandwich, but once I tasted the bread itself, I kinda just wanted the bread by itself because it tasted so good out of the toaster. So I just ended up putting butter on one of the slices instead, and left out the peanut butter entirely. Apparently it's supposed to get really hot here tomorrow. I was planning to go do the storage unit tomorrow again, but I'm not quite sure now if the temperature's going to be up all that high. Was also planning to go out because Wednesdays are the good deals on sushi at Meijer, and I like sushi. But I guess 1 week without it won't kill me. Although I barely have it to begin with. It's more than 1 week, but yeah, it'll always be there. Yeah. That is good bread. Yeah, I've been collecting up episodes today of a Korean show, South Korean, I think. I think it's called Dino Core. It's a 3D animated cartoon, and I just found it, so they have all the episodes available, so I may as well get it. I also found that there is a new series starting by, it's not really a series. It's It's just like these few-minute-long videos that Doug18 and a friend of his are doing, Narkish. I think it's called Burkle and Spay. Basically a cat and dog that are living as roommates and just things that happen. It's not what I would consider too terribly interesting of stuff, but it is something that I've seen because I always keep up to date on Doug18 and all that. We currently have the Bow Wow Falls from Frogger on the PlayStation 1/computer playing. Let me check over here. Is this going? Yeah, that's going. Ugh. Oh, did not mean to bring that up. Yeah. That's the most I've been doing today, except for moving storage in the morning. And had one of the cleaning people down there going, "Wow, you've been moving stuff here for a long time." And I was like, "Yep, still got a couple more weeks to go." I am getting the storage unit close to moved out entirely. Got all the furniture moved out except for one of the tables in the back. It's an old table we used to have in the basement at, well, all of the places that we lived back when we all lived in Ohio here. But mostly aside from that, it's just boxes to clear out now. Yeah. It's, you can get a storage unit moved out, it's just, it takes a while to do with one person driving a car back and forth, like, for a month or two. Thankfully, the unit's not too far away from here. I could walk there if I, like... probably take me an hour or so to do if I, like, tried. No, it'd be longer than an hour. Nah, I wouldn't do that anyway. There's little point in, like, walking to the storage unit to get stuff. It's like, what are you gonna do? Just go in there, pick it up with your hands, and walk one box at a time back to your, like, place? That's a bit ridiculous. Sure, you could do it, it's just... no real point. We have the advancements in vehicles that we do. Yummy, yummy bread. Yeah, when in doubt, bread will always be something you can eat. My dad used to make bread at the old school me and my brother went to back in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Well, when I was in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. My brother would have been 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I think. Yeah. Yeah, they had this little bakery type setup in the back for like cooking bread and stuff in the gymnasium kitchen. My dad and his friend would sometimes be back there cooking the bread, and just naturally making it. They also did pizza, but I only had that like one time, which kinda wish I could have had more. It tasted really yummy. Most things, if you know what you're doing when you're cooking, taste really good when they're like done by hand and everything. Dun, dun, dun. Ah. Yeah, up here, you can actually see what is underneath the hat of the claw. Because there's like this little rim of stuff here that goes along his brow. But you normally can't see it because the hat itself usually goes along his brow also. Yeah, there's more to his design that hasn't been shown in the comic yet because he's got all these loose clothes on and everything. There is concept art, though, of what is underneath the outfit. In the loud house, in the loud house, dun 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 ba da ba da ba da da. In the loud house, dun 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 ba da dun 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 dun. Da da dun ba da ba da da da. Yeah, all the audience members back here. I will be kinda happy once I'm done with this comic and don't have to keep going back to this background over and over and like blackening in all the areas where people aren't sitting. It is nice to have like a constant setting to work with, but it gets a bit old after a while doing the same one over and over. Certainly the most frequently seen setting that I've done, given that it's been here for like the last 2 comics. Let's see, that would be... Get rid of that. What would that be? That's that guy down there. Not sure what that is. Okay. That could be a head, that could be a head, there'd be another head here. Okay. I think we'll go with that. Yeah. Let me check the video here. Hello? Is this going? Bum. I'm just checking this. That's that guy down there. Not sure what that is. Okay. Yeah, I was just checking to see how the audio level is in the video itself. Okay, go back to here, and get back to the background here. Alright, alright, alright. Oh, and Daniel, I should be working on your commission tomorrow. Just had a number of things to take care of lately. Bum 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 ba da down. Yeah, I know some people don't care for the PlayStation computer Frogger sometimes. They, I think the sequel, Swampy's Revenge, is usually looked upon as the better game, but this music comes from the first game, the computer PS1 game of Frogger, and it's always one that I think of whenever I hear the name Frogger. It's what we had on the computer at school, at 2 different schools that I went to. And then I got it for the PS1 myself later on. Yeah, I always like a good arcade game. Galaga, Centipede, Dig Dug, all those things. The original Mario Bros. I do hope to someday animate a fake trailer for a good-looking version of the Mario Bros. Arcade game. All the hand-drawn sprites and everything. Give this guy a little animal nose back here. But yeah, the latest thing I've been collecting up is that Dino Core show. It's gotten me a bit distracted from trying to collect up other more endangered videos with how old some of the videos I'm trying to save are. But the Dino Core show shouldn't take too long to get, like, all the episodes of and all that. I don't know. A little scouter eye guy back here. There's just a little display of the cyborgness of the populace. Fun fact, in the comic of Dragon Ball, when Goku is fighting Kuriza, when Frieza gets chopped in half, you can see his intestines hanging out of him in the comic. Obviously, they do not show that on TV, but in the comic, it's there. It's always better to me to have the extent of the violence actually shown in those types of situations. It makes it feel more real to me. Dragon Ball comic in general is more graphic than the show. Got The Cell Juniors having, like, their eyeballs and brains crack out of their heads when Gohan is tearing them apart and stuff. It's pretty gruesome looking, but it helps to emphasize the animalistic nature that Gohan is displaying at that part. And then Dragon Ball was the first thing I think I really saw much violence in. We had the Tanko bombs when I was little. Tao Pai Pai was probably the first where it was really noticeable to me. Then Piccolo Daimyo when he, like, skewers his arm through one of the King's Guard's chests. That was the, mostly the start of it for me. I try to display violence in my comics when it's, I don't try to be over the top, like, this is violent, and we're going to revel in it being violent and stuff, and that's just boring to me. It's when I do violence, it is to emphasize the direness and the emotion and artistry of the situation, because there will be times in the comic where characters get, like, comedic, like, slapstick type of damage happen to them. And it's like, yeah, that looks painful, but it's not meant to be like, oh, that's horrifying type of thing. But in fights that are, like, actually serious, like, to emphasize the danger of them, characters will get hurt or bleed or lose a tooth or something like that, and the damage will remain more permanent throughout the fight. Yeah, I try to keep the comic all nice and fun as one of the priorities, Shadow. It's a fun adventure, but when it needs to, it gets more serious and dangerous. Or it gets more dangerous feeling in the more serious feeling moments of it. It's a balance that I don't think many series try to capture. Although in America, you almost can't do it at times with how the standards try to keep things as clean and, like, squeaky clean as possible and stuff. It gets kind of annoying, but you do have Adult Swim, and even though that does lean a bit too much into the, oh, we're edgy, and here's blood, and nudity, and explicit garbage everywhere, there are some shows that are given the chance to actually be as good as the creators are aiming for. But unfortunately, the American industry in general kinda shies away from that material. But since this is my independent comic, I can do whatever the hell I want. The joy of your own creation. Independent stuff is always... I think it's always the most interesting of the stuff. There's always gonna be the garbage in there, but at the same time, it does allow legitimately good opportunities to arise. There's always gems to be found. And a little vampire boy here. Ooh. So I checked the price on that Takua Tahu Lego, like, anniversary, or I don't know if it's an anniversary, but that Lego figure of Tahu and Takua they came out with the other month, and I like it, but I am not gonna spend $40-something on it. It's nice, but it feels like it should be cheaper to me. Although perhaps this will be the third generation of Bionicle, just have them as normal Legos this time around. That would be interesting, and be kind of a disappointment in ways, but be an interesting way to do it. The figure is more posable than the original Tahu figure. Yeah. I like that they include Takua's backpack that he has in the online game and stuff. The set looks like it was really made for the old Bionicle fans, like from the very first era of it. People making it knew what to aim for in the design. I also saw some Armada Transformer figures that they've been doing. I think they're in Combiner Wars. It's some of them look kind of like possibly the best figures they've done of the Armada line. Although I'm kind of surprised that with Takara being like doing the Japanese stuff it does, that they haven't done really masterpiece figures yet, as far as I know of the Armada characters. It seems like it'd be a great series to do the designs of, like, for masterpieces. But I guess they are mostly just focusing on the Generation 1 and Beast Wars for now. Which, if we're going in order, that would mean that after Beast Wars would be Car Robots, or the anime of Robot in Disguise, and then Armada. Which would probably mean quite a few years before they got to Armada. I like Energon's, like, figures a lot. The actual, like, show can go to hell, but the figures are always... some of them are nice. I love Megatron's figure in that, but Optimus is just fat, and I never understood why they decided to do that with him in that show. Loved Rodimus's design, though. Hello. In the loud house, in the loud house, in da 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 ba da ba da 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 da. In the loud house, in the loud house. In the loud house, in the loud house. Ba da ba da ba da ba da ba. Buh, 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 buh. Yeah, I was alright with Armada when I was younger, but it... Transformers in general, other than Beast Wars when I was little, was not the greatest thing. Like, I saw clips, I saw parts of Generation 1 while Beast Wars was going on, but it was just such a garbage show to me. And Beast Wars was amazing, but other than that, the franchise wasn't much to me. I liked the designs in Armada, but it didn't really grab me until they got off of Earth and got into Unicron stuff. The ending of Armada was pretty awesome to me. And it was kind of weird to me for Bumblebee to come back up as, like, a huge promoted character when they did the Michael Bay movies. Because he'd been absent since, like, the original show ended. He hadn't been, like, a main character in decades. So to just have him suddenly back, that was just more weird to me than anything. You always had, like, Cheetor or Hotshot to fill in the same role as Bumblebee. It seemed to be a role that they were just making new characters for that fulfilled the same purpose. And then Bumblebee came back and since then has been the character that is that child interacting character. Although in Robots in Disguise, the 2010s version, I think is when it was, they had, I think, Sideswipe as more of the Bumblebee type character, because Bumblebee was sort of the leader in that show, taking on the Optimus Prime type role, until they just threw Optimus Prime back into it in the second season, or third season, I forget which. No, it's the second season, because the third season deals with, like, them combining and stuff. Transformers. In-depth, obscure series that only fans would know about. I will say that Robots in Disguise cartoon is probably the best sequel series to a Transformer series to me, because I don't care for Beast Machines compared to Beast Wars. It's just kind of boring. And then Energon is Energon. We do not need that. So, out of the options, I will take Robots in Disguise as the sequel to Prime over the other sequel shows. And it did finally have Starscream get his colors and look like Starscream to me. That is something I had been wanting ever since I saw how he looked in Prime. Beast Machines is... you can sit through it, but I'd rather not. For me, you watch Beast Machines for the finale. It's an amazing finale, but getting there is the hard part to me. Usually I just skip straight to those final episodes, which is a shame to me, because it's like, it's made by Mainframe, and they make great shows. but I'm pretty sure Hasbro had given them the order that they were supposed to make it feel like it's basically forget about Beast Wars and make a sequel to Beast Wars, is what I remember it sounding like they were told to do. I'd have to look it up again, but that's pretty much how Hasbro seemed to handle, like, the stipulations they had for that show to me when I looked things up back then. Yeah, I do love Beast Wars, though, and Mainframe is always a great company to see what they were up to. Obviously, they're not Mainframe anymore, but Beast Wars, Reboot, Hot Wheels, Acceleracers, all that stuff, I can watch any day. I have got that Loud House theme just stuck in my head now. Bah. Well, I got some Invader Zim going there, at least, to try and break my mind out of the Loud House tune. Probably won't last too long, though. Oh, I'm aware of all sorts of stuff about the Loud House reception and the fans and all that stuff. For me, fan bases are all the same. I know people go on about, well, this fan base is worse than this one, and blah, 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 blah. It's all the same people to me, though. It's just individual people, all with their own interests. It's just that sometimes fan bases get so big, you see the more eccentric folk as, more prominent people on the forefront of the fandom. Yeah. Nah, I always look at it as, you gotta take a look at the individuals you're talking about as opposed to the entire fandom itself. Because obviously, there's good and bad people in any. And then you get into, well, good and bad could mean this and this to different people, and all that stuff. Yeah, I've had enough experience over the years with things like all the stuff people say about the Sonic fandom, the Pony fandom, all the fandoms of everything. Get out of my head, please, please, get out of... Yeah, this tune's not gonna leave my head now. Gonna be thinking about it till dinner. Now, I've done a few, Loud House pieces over the years. I've done a couple of pieces of fan art. That was a lot of black to put on there. A couple of pieces of fan art. I think a couple of commissions by people. And then there was a story I did once. And yeah, no, I've got my toes into, dipped my toes into various different subjects. Now, do I have the TF animated opening on here? I should. That shouldn't get me copyrighted. Yeah, I don't see the animated Japanese opening on here. Oh, well, if you ever need it, Bowyer, I've got every episode of Invader Zim and the movie. And, all the hardcover collections of the comics. Right now, I'm looking for Transformers animated Japanese opening on here, and I'm not seeing it. I see Super Voyager, but that's from, like, Beast Wars the Second, I think. I know I have it somewhere, because I've listened to it on the computer without the internet before. What is their name? Jam. Oh, there it is. Okay, gotta shut this down. And here's this. Come on, open up. Here we go. Now let's check to make sure that the sound isn't too loud or anything for this. I actually used to play this track in my head when thinking about my own Transformers series that I'd make stuff for. I planned to have it, like, play for the final episodes when Unicron would be brought into the picture. Oh. Well, that should be a good music level. Oh yeah, the Lice episode of Invader Zim. I believe that's a Season 2 episode. It ends with Zim getting, like, his, like, clothes and skin and stuff shredded off in that machine they put him in to make the antidote for the lice. Yeah, this is always a... I have wanted to make a Transformers animated music video to this song, but have never, like, gotten around to having the time to work on that. Last music video I did was the Amphibia music video, when that show ended. Yeah, sometimes I think about putting certain pieces or music videos I've made on the Discord, but then I think about if people might be interested in seeing the shows and not wanting to spoil the shows, because my music videos generally go over an entire series. Rest in peace to my Samurai Jack series music video. Season 5 music video is still up, though. Yeah, hopefully this song won't get my video blocked after it's done. I have dealt with that before. Transform. All you can do. Transform. Go. Yeah, that's always a nice one to listen to. Yeah. Oh. Okay, this plays right after it. Got another Transformers Japanese theme going. The song I would play in my head for the Beast Wars era music video I'd play of my stuff. Out of curiosity, getting to fandoms, what would you guys say is the craziest or worst fandom to you? Obviously, for me, it's no fandom, because they're just all the same thing to me. But I know that some carry different reputations for people. There's always Kiwi Farms. Well, it's not Unicron War, Valier. It is Unicorn Warriors Eternal is what it is. But I've seen episode 1, which was I was watching the streams that they were doing of Gendy's stuff on YouTube the other week. And they played the first episode there quite a few times. Haven't seen any of the episodes after, because I don't really have anything that plays current stuff. But it looks nice, and I would probably watch it if I had access to it. Gendy is always someone that is a person I am interested in seeing the material of. I did save the Craig McCracken interview that I think Shadow the Cartoonist put up the other day in the Discord. It's on my computer now. Oh, I forgot to put in the stands line over there to continue on from over here. I'll have to fix that later. Just a nice afternoon, evening of Japanese pop music. Hello, sweet life-giving K-pop. Oh, this is my favorite Mega Man Zero Resistance Base theme. This is from the third game. Yeah. I want to play more video games on stream, but I also want to be able to get stuff created. So it's kind of a tough balancing act of what to do at times. I would like to show the other Zero games, though, at some point. Apparently 2 people liked that stream of the final Mega Man Zero episode I did. Let's see, what is that back there? Yeah, I didn't detail this enough because the word balloon was in the way and I was on stream, so I wasn't really focusing enough on the details of the picture. That's one thing, when you're like streaming, you're focusing on talking at the same time and showing stuff. So it distracts you from, like, doing all the little details that would help you later on in the next phase of the page. Take away the blacks. That is... What is that? That's supposed to be a chair there. Then I guess that's the other end of it? Okay, put that back the black. Let's just work around what we can of it. Damn it, Edward, you need to do better work. I want pictures of Daniel. There's my little J. Jonah impression. Get me pictures of Spider-Man. What do I pay you for, Parker? You don't pay me, sir. That's a damn good thing I don't. Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson is probably one of my favorite Spider-Man characters. He's a character that is a complete jerk on the surface, but, like, he does actually care. Because there'll be times where he shows he is a legitimately good guy. It's just that he has his beliefs about people that wear masks and is always after the next big story. And then there's the part in the first movie where he doesn't tell the Green Goblin, who takes Spider-Man's pictures and defends Peter from being found by the Rhino in Spectacular Spider-Man. But he always keeps that air of, I don't know, his stuff comes in the mail. Just his usual Jameson persona. I remember in the original Steve Ditko comics, he actually admits at the end of one of the comics to himself, not when anyone's listening, but he admits that he is jealous of Spider-Man and being unable to be the person that Spider-Man is. He's a character with layers to him. Spectacular's still the best Spider-Man show ever to me. The 90s show has the most traditional-looking art style that looks more like the John Romita Sr. type of art. But animation-wise, it's not that great. Like, it's good, it's fine to watch, the art makes up for it, but in terms of feeling like Spider-Man and getting the personality and atmosphere right, Spectacular is the one that's done it the best to me. And I do love that Green Goblin in that show. Ah well, your loss of life. That and the Spectacular Spider-Man show actually goes through, like, a few different sagas that are from the comics. Like, it has the Master Planner saga, which no other show, I don't think, has, like, ever done. And it, like, starts off with Gwen Stacy instead of Mary Jane for once. That's something that always bugged me about the shows, is they never did Gwen Stacy. Until that one, and then they finally did it. And then Edward was happy. And then it got cancelled. Because it's a Disney show that's a Marvel show. Is the fate of those types. We will never forget you, Earth's mightiest heroes. Essentially the Justice League Unlimited of Marvel. Such a sad day when that show was canceled. It was doing everything so perfectly. Yeah, that's Disney. And then they put in, like, they did what they were saying was going to be a sequel show, which is Avengers Assemble, which is just making it more like the movies and more aimed towards younger kids. And saying that, oh, don't worry, it's a sequel to Earth's Mightiest Heroes, even though Ant-Man acts like he has not gone through the events of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and these are clearly characters that have not been in that universe, with events that cannot line up with that universe. Oh no, Gwen Stacy isn't Black Cat Valor, that is Felicia Harding. I believe she has white hair, Gwen Stacy has blonde hair. I think Gwen was dead by the time that Black Cat came into the comics. Because, in the original comics, well, Gwen's death is what ends the Silver Age of comics in general. That is what most people attribute to the end of that era, because it's making things more dark and everything. It's when, it's what the first Spider-Man movie is, takes the Green Goblin throwing Mary Jane off the bridge. That's what they get it from, is he throws Gwen Stacy off the bridge in the comic. Except in the comics, Spider-Man doesn't save her. He tries to and fails, and she dies. And that is how it ended for her character in the original comics. And then Spider-Man goes after Green Goblin, intent on killing him for that. And in the following issue, they have their big fight, which the first movie shows. And I think Spider-Man decides not to kill him. It's been a while since I've seen the comic version. He might have still wanted to kill him, but either way, as in the movie, the Green Goblin tries to get him with his glider, and Spider-Man gets out of the way, and Green Goblin impales himself. That's the end of the original Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy. And the end of that era of comics. And then the Clone Saga happened, which had all sorts of... had a Gwen Stacy clone of, oh my god, she's back. But then it's revealed, oh no, it's a clone, and then there's a clone of Peter, and then there's another clone of Peter, and it's just clones everywhere. And that's what most people consider the worst part of the original Spider-Man comics. The Clone Saga. Which was originally just meant to be like a pretty not lengthy saga. It was set to be a set number of issues, but because of like the company meddling and stuff, it got dragged out into a saga that lasted for years and years, and everyone was just sick of. And it's not a good time. Yeah, and Gwen is not Black Cat, that is Felicia Harding, who flirts with Spider-Man, but I don't think they ever end up together. They've dated on occasion, but that's about it, I think. Gwen Stacy has been brought back after that in other universes, like what they do now with her, Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider is what they call her nowadays. But she was, well, she was never called Spider-Gwen as her superhero name, because obviously you're not gonna call yourself, I'm Super Edward, come and attack my family because you know who I am. But she was like Spider-Woman. But because there has been a Spider-Woman before, I think they ended up changing it to Ghost Spider, so there wouldn't be as much confusion for the fans. But yeah, that's the history on those characters. In Spider-Gwen's world, it basically went that she was the one that got bit by the spider, and Peter was the one that was like... It's basically a role reversal. So he's the one that ended up getting killed, and she's the one that got the spider stuff. And that's how it basically went. It was just sort of a reverse world scenario, kind of. But because of things like Spider-Verse and stuff, they're sort of making her more of a presence throughout the franchise these days. Along with all the other Spider people they keep throwing into everything now. Up until, like, 2000, like, the 2000s, it was mostly just the one universe of Spider-Man. There were, like, what-if stories and stuff, but that was, like, just little one-shot ideas of, oh, well, what if Aunt May got bit by the spider? Which, there are 2 Aunt Mays that I know of that are spider people. But until the 2000s, it was usually just the original universe and then whatever cartoon was going on. Oh, Virus and Threat Protection, Windows Defender Summary. Okay, you go away. I've never really had too much opinion of Miles. He's kinda just there to me. Sort of the new kid on the block, but that's about it. Because when I think Spider-Man, I just think Peter, so... Well, I guess if you count it, there could be his version of the Prowler that is his enemy. But yeah, in terms of just the enemies that are wholly new, Miles pretty much just carries on the traditional spider enemies. Which is the case for pretty much any spider person. Like Gwen and Spider Noir and Spider Ham and all of them have their own versions of everyone. It's lazy, but it is the Marvel DC way of making more stuff to get more money and just present the old things in newer situations and twists. It's not a thing I've always been much of a fan of. It works if it's like a new show or something, a new big thing. But when it's just doing it constantly throughout different series and micro-series and everything of primarily one medium of a franchise, it gets pretty old to me. That is why, with my multiverse in the comics, I have a set amount of universes, and they do not go on for infinity. They cannot go on beyond a set number. Because what it is, I kind of got annoyed at the whole, oh, well, in Transformers, we'll just have this happen in this universe, because, yeah, this is another version of it, and Unicron's the same across all of them. That'll be the constant until we retcon that. And, things like that, just, oh, here's another universe, and it's like, just tell a story. This is getting very old. If you don't keep it in one universe, or at least a collection of universes, it makes everything just seem meaningless. Because it's like, okay, well, that world, that universe got completely ruined, but it's okay, because there's all these other universes to work with, and it's like, no, you don't just hit the reset button when you don't like things. That's always been the trade-off issue for me. So, with my comics, with their multiverse, it can't go beyond a certain point because of how the guidelines, the laws of reality are set up. Basically, it's that, multiverse, the different universes in the comics I do, they are created by split timelines, is what happens. There are these things called time coins, which are used for time travel during certain parts of the different series that take place in my universe. And, the first place they show up is Barbot, the very first adventure he goes on. And, what happens is him and Mutant Kid end up doing something in the past when they get warped to it from the time coin. They don't know it's the past, but something they do there, they end up getting warped back to their time period. Something they do there ends up causing something in a later adventure to happen, because they were meant to go back there. And that was meant to happen. So that does not split the timeline, that is just time travel within the same timeline. But if something does happen that is not supposed to happen, that will split that off into another timeline. That will create its own universe from those events breaking it and just causing it to follow a different line of fate from then on out. And eventually that happens so much that the fabric of reality, of time and space, will start to tear and be destroyed if it happens again. It will threaten all of the multiverse if it happens any more than it has by the time the comics take place. So, yeah, that's pretty much how I have that multiverse set up. As a, here's different scenarios for what happened, but you aren't getting any more than this, because there's not supposed to be any more than this. And that's sort of how I decided to present the issue of multiple timelines in my stuff. Really, it's the multiverse conundrum. It wasn't really a thing, I don't think, until the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff. Which is where DC, I think, realized, oh, fuck, we have all this stuff that does not make sense if you read the comics in order. So, well, this one took place in this time period, this one took place on this Earth, we can do it like this, and everything is A-okay. And then they just kept doing that and realizing, oh, we can make money from this. And yeah, that's where I see the issue having started in my eyes. Multiverses are fine to me in things that are more of, like, lend themselves more to being joke type of material, like Transformers was never, like, super serious, and Ninja Turtles is a complete joke a lot of times. So those things, it's, like, sort of expected, but when you get into more serious matters, it feels like it's out of place if you do it too much to me. Yeah, but everything devolves to whatever the money says for the company in the end. I just went on a whole long tangent about something I rarely ever talk about. You at least get some insight into how the realities of my comics work. Now let me check over here for a second. And Doko and his friends will absolutely go to some of those universes later on, or have things from those universes affect the main universe. They will eventually meet evil Doko. I think Evil Doko, that scenario, I think I was thinking of Rear View Mirror Mirror, the final episodes of Megas XLR, when I was thinking of it originally. Obviously, I made up a ton of stuff for it that goes beyond what Megas XLR did with its alternate universe, but that was the, I think, initial thing I was thinking of when I was coming up with an evil version of Doko. Yeah, Tesley's evil there. She's the right-hand person for Doko, pretty much. Stacy sort of acts as this crazed watchdog type of character. And Mech is just sort of a slave that makes stuff for them. Doko rules the world in that universe. Diabolic angels are part of the resistance and everything against him. Although the real one that is operating things in that world is the Old Sage, which is Doko's mentor in the main world. But in that world is an evil version of him. Him and Sake sort of are on the opposite ends of the spectrum that they're on in the normal world. Oh, so, looking at the chat again, sorry to have taken that discussion so far away from the Spider-Man stuff. I do apologize for if you guys were fixating on that. Just got kinda sidetracked there. I'm surprised I'm not more hungry right now. I'm getting hungry, but I thought I'd be more hungry. I guess it's probably because I had that, those pieces of bread and banana. Yeah, this is one of my favorite Mega Man tracks, I think. I always love how Mega Man 8 looks. I do wish the dub for Mega Man 8 was better, because it's like... it is just embarrassing Capcom 90s dubbing. But at the same time, that's part of why people that aren't Japanese like it, is because of Dr. Wily. Just the atrociousness of the voice work for Capcom in the 90s. I think probably the only character that is like really acceptable in the English dub of Mega Man 8 is Dr. Wily himself. Because he just sounds like a supervillain, so it's like, yeah, that's what you expect. But it's like, Dr. Light sounds like he's a drunk Elmer Fudd and stuff, and it's hilarious and cringeworthy, but it's hilarious. It's the same team that did the dubbing for Mega Man X4. What are you gonna do? The Resident Evil, all that stuff. Take this. It's a weapon. It's very powerful, especially against living things. And that Resident Evil 1 is just a gold mine of quotes. Chris, stop it. Let's go on to another Mega Man. Here we go. I love this track. Yeah, Mega Man Zero is arguably the best Mega Man game to me. Arguably, because there are a few contenders for that position. Mega Man X, Mega Man X4, Mega Man Legends. Oh, bow down, yeah, down, 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 down. Play this song in my head thinking of a part of the final adventure for Doko's stuff. I believe this plays in... what is it? Is it Sub-Arcadia this plays in? I think this is Sub-Arcadia. Or Under Arcadia in Japanese. The track itself is called Hell's Gates Open. Obviously for what's going on in Mega Man 03. That deals a lot with, some of the most dire things in the franchise. And one of the interesting things about that level is, if you look in the background, there are schematics of Zero on the wall. And you can see below it, in the corner, it says Dr. W, number infinity, which implies something that fans of the franchise might be able to pick up on for what that means about the person that probably made those schematics. Not that they are the person that, like, made Zero, but what they know about Zero. And at this part, when I'm thinking of Doko's comics and where I have this playing in my head when I think of it, you'd see the Earth in the background while him and Tesley are riding on this vessel. Meteor, meteor, meteor. Come on. Alright, there's that. Bum, bum. I believe this is the theme that plays in Dragon Ball Kai for the tournament. Which I guess is fitting for what I'm working on here. Yeah, what I should do at some point soon is just play, like, do a video where I play all the music I have and see which tracks get the video blocked. How long is this one? Just to see what music tracks I can and cannot use. Danger. Earth. Instrument. Did I use this in the Dragon Ball review? I think I did, but I can't remember where right now. Feels like it'd be credit music, but I used Romantica Geru Yo there. Yeah, maybe I didn't use this track. I have quite a number of tracks, though, for, the Dragon Ball video I did. Yeah, man. Story, theme. Uh-huh-huh. Oh, this is the music that I play when it gets to the Z part of the Dragon Ball review. Yeah, and here's where it's like getting to where Goku's fighting Piccolo in the 23rd Budokai. Then Gohan and Goku in the intro of Z fly at the screen on Kintoon here. Oh no, yeah, close. It's the legacy of Goku Shadow. Yeah, I have quite a few tracks from the Game Boy Advance games that I had as options I was using for the Dragon Ball review. Yeah, you don't have to get very far into the review to hear this track play. Although, it doesn't go on for this long in the review, because it cuts to other tracks when it gets to different parts of the review. Oh, that's why I'm getting hungrier. It's almost 7 o'clock here. Yeah, if I had it my way, my retro rework project would remake every Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all those games to have them all hand-drawn, nice looking. We would completely redraw everything in the Legacy of Goku games, make them look like they're straight out of the anime or cheapified approximations of such, given how they look on the maps sometimes. Obviously an impossible task with how many video games there are out there to remake, but if in a perfect world, we would have them all done. Yeah, it takes enough man-hours just to reanimate that one, reanimation I did of Mario in the Shell Creeper from Mario Bros. I was working on Alex Kidd for a bit, but then I found out there was a real remake finally, so I kinda defeats the purpose, so just sorta stopped there. I did get started on making the standing image for the mystical ninja Goemon characters for their 2D games. But I always have projects, so that ended up fading off. See, this guy up here, that's the guy with the scouter over here. Yeah, Sake has a scouter type eye on her, but it's on the other side of the face. Sake Monalical, the wizard. Yeah, she used to have both of her normal, organic eyes, but due to something in the past, she is missing one by the comic time period. This track goes on forever. Doko, you take forever to color in. It gets a bit iffy sometimes when you have all these lines going across the character to convey motion, if you also have to color in black areas on them. Usually it works itself out as you go. Nah. Something's wrong. Play. West. Yeah, I forget if this is Trunks' theme or not in Kai. I think it might be. Alright, gotta get his scouter eye. I am going to make macaroni and hamburger once I get off here. And the announcer always has 3 buttons on this side of his outfit. Very kinda Tezuka-esque in the simple but rounded design of the outfit's button placement and stuff. It is a crime to me that the 2003 version of Astro Boy still does not have a subtitled, like an official English subtitled version of the Japanese version of it. like, of all series, you would think Astro Boy would get the premium treatment given, like, his importance to anime, but they have never bothered to do a proper English translation of it. It's always been left to the fans to do. And I cannot stand parts of the dub of that show. Just, once I heard Astro going, "Let's rock it," every time that was very grating to me. Then there's the obvious censorships they do in leaving out stuff and rearranging scenes in episodes and leaving out an entire episode. Yeah, that's never made much sense to me how that could happen to Astro Boy. It's like, he was the face of anime, and to have him just slip away is... It's like having Superman become a more unknown type of character and stuff. It's just very bizarre to me. Yeah, they're still doing stuff of Astro Boy from time to time, but it's obviously not how it used to be. It's just real sad to me with the Astro 2003 show, because that is such a good show of him. Well, the CGI movie certainly did not help matters when it came to the Astro franchise. Was kinda, yeah, the train wreck would be saying it generously. There are people that like it, but it was not how it not what people were hoping for. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those development hell projects at this time, the Astro Boy revival. Personally, I would just air either a more proper dub of the 2003 show, or just a subtitled version of the Japanese version, and just air that, and that would probably attract more attention than trying to do a whole new thing to try and revive him. It's what I would assume would be the way to go on that. I always found it amusing that, the, Dr. Tenma, Astro's dad, becomes just a worse and worse character with each iteration. Like, he throws him out in the original. Then in, like, the 80s one, he's an alcoholic, abusive kind of guy. And then he's just a flat-out supervillain in the 2003 show. It's like, they just keep leveling up in his original bad dad of anime-ness. Yeah, he goes pretty crazy. Although I did love how, in the newer DuckTales, they have that episode that is just a flat-out tribute to, like, Astro Boy and Tezuka. It was, like, clearly designed because Carl Bark and, Tezuka, the creators of, like, Astro Boy and the Donald Duck comics, were friends. It's really nice to see that tribute to them. And they, like, make, I forget the guy's name, but he's, like, playing the Dr. Tenma role of the episode. And he says Tubio, exactly like how Dr. Tenma says Tobio in the 2003 Japanese version of the Astro Boy thing. Yeah, it's kinda hard to beat old Tenma when it comes to the bad dad shtick. He's had that trophy for quite a number of decades now. Oh, the music stopped. I just realized that. See what we got over here. Not that. That's True Blue. This'll at least let me know if this video gets blocked, if I can use this track at all in a potential Astro Boy review later in the future. It is such a shame that this, like, the music of the Japanese version did not get shown on Toonami for this show. It has such a good soundtrack. Just replace it with more generic sci-fi sounding stuff in the American dub. Yeah, this is the second opening of the 2003 Astro Boy. Although I think they obviously shorten it when they put it in the show, so this whole little part here gets left out, I think. I remember I showed Masasa some stuff from this show once, like before I was getting the Discord going, and I remember she was surprised that Astro Boy had a sister. She never knew about that. I think they switched back to the first intro, though, for the final episode of the show. It's been a while since I saw the show. I remember me and Dad watched it together before I left Iowa. Yeah, Euron is pretty adorable. And a bit of a mischief maker. Yeah, this part gets left out of the intro, I think. Yeah, this part does. Down, 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 down. There's a lot of ominous shots of, like, Astro and Blue Knight and stuff in these technological ruins in the second intro, as, like, the ghostly image of Tenma watching over them in the background. I remember it has Shadow at one part with, he jumps out of the way of Pluto coming out of the ground to attack. Yeah, I don't think Shadow's from the original comics, but everything, like, they designed the newer characters in the show to look like they would have been in the comics. Ding, ding. Ding. Now, if you guys ever need a subtitled version of the 2003 Astro, I do know where to get that. This is the theme that I think of when I think of Mecha, which is a character that was designed to sort of be an anti-Barbot. Created by Dr. Jack Kite for King Shadow. Alrighty, I'll be sure to give that on Discord when I am... Well, after I'm done with this, I'm going to make dinner. I'm not going to get done with this before I get to dinner, because it's still quite a bit of stuff to color in here. But yeah, once I'm on Discord properly, I'll be sure to link you up and share that around. Although I have the files on my computer, so if there isn't a link anymore, I can just, well, not with the limit that Discord has of like 8 megabytes or whatever, but in an email or something I could send the raw file and all that. I have a few Astro Boy things. Actually, let me check. I have the files on here. Let me save this first. Okay, let's go here, head on over to shows. General Explorer? Oh. That'll show the files. Ah, there we go. Oh. Oh, that's the not as good. This stuff was like all, that was a earlier fan subtitling, which isn't as good. The, or no, that wasn't a fan one, it switches to fans later, but no, these are the better subtitles here. They're, like, more accurately done by fans. And then there's a few things down here that are, like, other pieces of Astro that aren't really in with the show itself. some of them are unrelated entirely from the show, but they're all Astro stuff. Now, these ones were like, I think they were, for about half of them, they're translations that are in English from, I think a Taiwan or Philippines copy of the show. And they're like really bad subtitles at parts, like they say things that make no sense. Like when Astro Boy is chasing like a train and stuff, at one part they say like the butter is open in the subtitles, and it's what are you talking about? And things like that, like there's one where Astro is saying, your mind is pretzel, and I think what they mean is the guy's confused because pretzels are twisted up, but it's like, I don't want to have to think about what they're trying to say. So, yeah, these subtitles are the ones to go with, but, yeah, that's stuff for later. Right now, I'm still doing all this stuff. I guess if things ever get dire with me, I could show, like, on stream all the stuff I've collected on these, like, folders and everything. Although what I plan to do is have, like, backups made of, like, hard drives I would physically buy and then copy the hard drives I have onto to send out to specific people in the Discord, just as a way to continue on the legacy. All the projects I've worked on, as well as the various shows and YouTube videos and everything I've collected. That way, other people have something to start with in their collection, or things to just enjoy on their own time, or look into the contents of, see if they themselves are interested in certain things. Oh yeah, this, getting into the action here, the poses are probably going to be pretty frantic and stuff. It's probably gonna be a pretty fun time posing-wise. Have all the speed lines around him to show that he's coming towards the screen and stuff. And then you see a few speed lines around the claw, and then more as it comes towards him. And then some speed lines on Doko here to show that he's moving past the claw. And then the claw moving out of the way with some speed lines and lines here. It'll become clearer in this picture as the blacks are put in. But yeah, that's how much is done for the page. Then after Doko misses, he's going to hit the ground and spin around and try to make another hit. Then the claw will dodge that. Then he'll try to hit him again. Then the claw will catch it with his claw, put the other claw under Doko's arm real quick, and just flip Doko right over onto his, onto the ground. Almost flip him to, skid out of the ring, but it won't knock him out. Doko will stop himself before that happens. Yeah, Doko can get pretty intense looking when he's attacking things. He's a bit of a dangerous character when you get him into an actual serious fight. There we go. I'm thinking probably after I fill in the blacks on this picture here, I'm probably going to stop, because I am getting hungry. Need to make dinner before it gets too late. Been seeing so many people post videos about Clone High lately. The whole revival thing going on with that. Let us go to another music track. Well, I play the Samurai Jack music, but I know that'd get me blocked. Yeah, let's go with this. Yeah, I've heard mixed things about the revival of the Clone High thing. For me, I'm just more sorta watching along the side, because like, Clone High was there, but like, to me, it's sort of, out of all the shows to get brought back, that's the one. Like, it's fine, because, like, it's not a horrible thing, but there's so many other ones I want to see before that. Like, you could do Challenge Showdown. So many other possibilities. Like, it's nice to see it back, but at the same time, I got so many other ones that are prioritized above that. Like, if you're going... Let's see, there's Growing Up Creepy, Ruby Gloom, Challenge Showdown, just all sorts of possibilities for what you could continue on. And, I mean, I'll take it over Total Drama or something like that, but it's sort of, okay, you brought back an alright thing. I'll take it, I guess. I can't find the effort to feel too much about any certain way about it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, it's a shame Gandhi's not there, but I do like the Frida design they did for her. That seems alright to me. But at the same time, it's like I don't feel myself drawn to be critical about it or praise it. So I'm kinda just sitting there and like, oh, this is going on in front of my face. I guess this is passing my time. Yeah, I would... Shaolin Showdown, that is one I would jump for joy to see again. And I know they did that continuation sort of reboot, like before reboots were in full swing. And it was really not the best. It's not horrible, but at the same time it's trying to be like a remake and a sequel at the same time, and you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. Well, if you mean Shaolin Showdown, I got you covered on that one. I got both the original and the Shaolin Chronicles Revival series. So don't you worry about that. And Shaolin Showdown was gonna play a bit of a big part towards the end of my old mega crossover of awesome comic. Jack Spicer would be a very prevalent presence throughout the villain faction of that series. Always be sort of looked down on, but be there as a constant. Dr. Eggman would sort of feel sympathetic towards him, seeing the young evil genius trying to make his way in the world. I love this track. People say that Sonic 06 has great music, and it does have a few really good tracks, but I don't think it really has the best music library in the series. I love this track, and I love, what is it, Crisis City? I love those tracks. Mephiles has some good tracks. But other than that, it doesn't really have too much that stands out for me other than, like, the main theme of the game. His World. Which I find to be better without lyrics, when it's just the instrumental version where they're fighting Solaris at the end. But no matter how bad a main Sonic game gets, music is always a good factor in the series. Till you get to debatably Forces, then all hands are off on anything in that game. But we don't talk about Forces. Yeah, I drew Doko's individual teeth here, because when you do lower teeth, like, when you can see those right there, you don't really get a sense of them being teeth if they're just like white blocks. So you gotta sort of separate it into individual teeth when you're looking down where like the tongue and teeth are, if it's not in color. Yeah, there was an episode of Growing Up Creepy I remember that reminded me of, like, Molly McGee. Because there's an episode in Growing Up Creepy that, like, focuses on, like, a baseball thing, and there's a, ghost story that the kids of the school have of a girl that died there, and her ghost haunts the place. It turns out to just be some kid that's pranking the, main character in Molly McGee, and they end up pranking them back, but at the end of the episode, it, like, goes into the storage equipment room where the sports stuff is kept, where the ghost was, like, supposed to be haunting it, and it does show the ghost at the end of the dead girl. That kinda made me think of Molly McGee once I saw what Molly McGee was about. Especially when it got to, like, the baseball episode of Molly McGee. That really made me think of that episode of Growing Up Creepy. I'd watch Molly McGee more, it's just I don't have anything that, the series is on. So, I can't really keep up to date on that. It'll be one of those series I catch up to probably years after it's over. I see little clips here and there on YouTube, but that's about it, and I don't want to see too much on the off chance that I ruin the story for myself. Although it isn't as complex looking as other Disney shows in recent times. I do know that there's the ghost hunting kid Ollie now that's sorta part of the team, but maybe conflicted on what his family does and how that is in terms of his knowledge now. Things like that. Oh yeah, the animation in Molly McGee is pretty fantastic. That is the one thing I noticed immediately when I was watching it, is it's like the cartooniest cartoon Disney has done in years. It has very simple shapes, but it, like, makes them move around in ways that are less realistic than, like, Amphibia or Owl House would do it. It has, like, words pop out of the air that become physical objects in their world, and it has so many smear frames when they're moving super quick and stuff that it is very fun to just pause and look at certain frames of animation when movement is going on and see all the wacky, impossible positions the characters are flowing through. Oh well, in time, perhaps your shadow will be animated that well. I'd have quite a bit of use of smear frames during fight sequences and stuff in Doko's things. And I have done some smearing in the Xeno Hunter animations, I'm pretty sure. Xeno Hunter's animation at first was somewhat me trying to match up to the level of Earthworm Jim's animation in the first two games. those are some of the best games ever to me when it comes to the animation aspect of it. That and Rayman Origins and a few others here and there. Sadly, video games in general do not usually prioritize the animation aspect of it. They do so more in 2D titles, but even then, a lot of it gets a bit limited a lot of times. Rayman Origins was what made me think, okay, we are at the point now where we can do literally anything when it comes to what you create and put on the screen as drawings for video games. Let's move on to some more music. Not get stuck on this. I guess on the topic of this music, Crash Bandicoot was the first thing that really showed the cartooniness that could be done in 3D video games to me. They set out to make a Warner Brothers type character for a 3D game, and they pulled it off pretty well. I have talked with a guy that was brought on to Crash Bandicoot to help guide them on how to do cartooning stuff. It's Joe Pearson. Talked to him on Facebook before. He has done a movie called War of the Worlds Goliath. Sort of a sequel, I think, to the book of War of the Worlds, that time period, but like, if the aliens returned, and if humanity back then incorporated and worked off of the technology that they scavenged from what was left behind from the initial alien invasion. No, Crash Bandicoot 2, I'm pretty sure the implication is that you're still going across the islands from Crash Bandicoot 1. It's just that the warp rooms in Crash Bandicoot 2 are warping you to them. And the levels that seem similar to each other between the different warp rooms are just different spots on the specific islands that you're being warped to. So, like, each warp room is not its own island. They all just warp you to the different islands in every warp room. And I think it's 3 islands that there are. And then, obviously, the space station levels take place on the Cortex Vortex space station. It was so nice to see the remakes of Crash Bandicoot when they came out, the Insane Trilogy. The controls are a bit odd at times to me, physics-wise, but the visuals of it are so good. To actually see stuff how it was, like, intended to be portrayed. And being able to play as Coco is, like, that's just a dream come true. Like, I would have lost my mind being able to do that in the original games. Then you got Spyro, which unfortunately they changed the gun level, but other than that, it's pretty nice to look at that one. Now, if they could just remake every PlayStation 1 game, oh, to have the bizarre surrealness of Mort the Chicken in high-def, recreated visuals. That would just be a nightmare. I would love to see Croc get a remake. Have his controls actually evened out. Have him look good. I think that evolved out of... what was that? It was going to be a Yoshi game that they were working on, but Nintendo didn't want it, and the people making it turned it into Croc instead. I think that's how that went. I'd have to recheck everything. Alright. Got Doko all blackened up here, I think. Oh, Nintendo's got a bit of things I don't, they've got a bit of a history to them. They pretty much caused the PlayStation to be created. Got into a deal with Sony where they were, I think Sega had made or was in the process of making the Sega CD, and they'd gone to Sony to make their own CD add-on for the Super Nintendo, but then they went to Philips without telling Sony and made the same deal with them. And then when Sony came to Nintendo and said, okay, we've got the thing ready, Nintendo basically were just like, oh, we went with Philips instead. That was the end of that. And so they were, the guy that was in charge of Sony back then, he didn't care about video games at all. He was not really for them making any video game anything. And it was, I think, a guy that he didn't like, or some guy that was engaged to a relative or something was put in charge of making the CD add-on. And when they came back and told him about Nintendo going against their, like, going behind their back to do that stuff, the guy that was in charge, that did not care anything about video games was like, okay, well, we're gonna make them hurt then, and you have full permission to go ahead with making a system of your own against them. And so that's how the PlayStation came to be. Nintendo has a habit of making their own worst enemies. They have a history of that. Let's see, how is that? That's his head. So that would be... That's the arm. Okay. How does that work? I think that's the belt down there. So that would be... Okay, yeah, that's the belt. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, but I think this'll be the end of the stream, probably. Just getting this part here blackened up. Down. Yeah, down. I always find it amusing when people talk about, like, the Sega CD being a bad system, when Nintendo's attempt was the CDI. It's like, yeah, it's not the best, but, on the other hand... yeah, this is, I think the end of the stream here. That's quite a bit of a angry Doko charging face. Don't think he's angry, but the expression there. Well, let's pull out and give an overview of the page. I do need to make dinner and everything. Yeah, so we got the claw up here, who I'm going to even out the eye of. Looks a bit jaggedy. Yeah, my dad has said before that Doko kinda reminds him of Goku, with his idiocy and not understanding society, simplistic nature, and all of that stuff, fighting and all that, and then I guess the name Goku and Doko, 2 syllables each. Yeah, but I said consummate performance, but given the context clues, I assume you understand what I meant. Doko nods. Announcer's just like, oh, well, I was going to ask if you had anything else to say. Seems like you two are ready. Anything else? I've said all that's necessary. Doko just shakes his head. Gives a parallel to him nodding his head over on the left side. It's kind of split down the middle here. Give before and after with the claw and Doko. Then the announcer starts the match and Doko charges. And then he's going to... The claw is just going to nudge out of the way when Doko gets to him. Let him fly right past. Yeah, that's how the page will go. Just pretend everything is blackened in, and you'll have how the page will look when it's done. As for me, though, I am getting pretty hungry, so I will be departing out to make myself some dinner. I hope you all have your own nice little meals for the evening. And I guess I'll be seeing you next time. This has been Edward18, making a comic page. See you later!